We're talking Bryce Young. We're talking rookies. We're taking your phone calls. We're taking your questions. We might have a couple surprise guests come into the show. Some invites have been sent out. I don't know if these guests will be joining me on this show or the next one, but we're going to be doing that a little bit more often. The Fantasy Football Show, live edition, per usual, 7 p.m. Eastern every single Monday through Friday. Your show, Michael K. CPA, first in the building today. OEG second. Travis Rowe, third in the building. File on in, hit that thumb up button. Let's go. The Fantasy Football Show begins right now.
From the FantasyFootballShow.com studios, it's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern.
What is going on, everybody? Appreciate you being here. File on in, hit that thumb up button on your way in the door. We might have a couple surprise guests coming in to talk rookies, to talk about a whole lot of other stuff. But hang tight on that. I might have more information as the show moves along. It might be something that happens quickly, or we might have something happen next show on Monday. But hang tight on that. We'll be talking Bryce Young. Promo code Smitty says, Lancaster, get on over to Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Tonight we draft like we do every single Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Every single Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We do live draft marathons every week. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Tuesday's now Panic Chamber. We're not doing live drafts necessarily at all on Tuesday. This will be live draft marathon days. 3 days straight. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, midnight Eastern. Easy to remember. Live whenever news breaks right here. Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. File on in. Michael, Jeremy, Rockout, Blind Larry, Wild Bill in the house. Appreciate every single one of you. Lancaster, they match up to $100 on the first deposit, says Lancaster. So if anybody wants to get in on this, jump in. Okay, and we also have the $50 hauler board. And on the $50 hauler board, if you drop a $50 hauler, you get your prediction on the big board, and it's receipt season. We'll reflect on it throughout the year. At the end of the year, we'll all look at the board, and the top prediction is going to win a co-host spot for an entire episode on the phone or on video if you prefer, whichever you prefer. And you also win a lifetime membership to thefantasyfootballshow.com, which is my year-round fantasy football content site. I got exciting news. We opened the forum back up on the Fantasy Football Show this morning. We have over 100 posts already on the free forum. It's on thefantasyfootballshow.com, so join that revolution. There's a forum. We had the best forum in the industry, in my opinion. It was so busy. You could literally say, it's kind of like the Discord, but like in a message board format. And I moved everybody over to Discord. And I admit, because it broke, I had to rebuild it, and I decided, you know what, let's funnel everybody over to Discord, which worked at first, but a lot of people missed the forum. So now the forum's back. Go to thefantasyfootballshow.com, link in the description, or just go to thefantasyfootballshow.com. The forum is back. There's a link on the homepage. Get over there. Wild Bill says, yeah, working on my prediction. Okay, get it ready. Let me send this link to my special guests. I don't know if they're going to be able to pop by. They're both going to try. So let me see if I can send it to them right now. But we're going to talk a little foosball with a couple of my buddies. Former professional players of sorts. We'll get into that if they hop in. And we'll discuss this kid right here, because the news is hot on this kid right here. The news is fresh. The news is looking pretty nice. Panthers head coach talking about this kid Bryce Young, saying he showed complete command of the offense in his first practice with the team. I'm telling you right now, doubters will be disappointed in themselves. Everyone's mother will be disappointed in their child that doubts this kid. If you doubt this kid, your mom is going to be so disappointed in you at the end of the year, because you're throwing receipts out there. You're throwing receipts out there that this kid is not going to be the real deal because of his height. And you got these questions about him. What's up, Damian? What's up, Damian? How's it going, pal? Can you hear me okay?
What's going on, guys?
So I've got Damian Berry on the show here. Damian Berry was a running back in the NFL. What years did you play for the Baltimore Ravens during the Super Bowl year, by the way, I might add?
From 11 to 14.
11 to 14. So this guy's a Super Bowl. You got a ring on right now? You
Nah,
you don't
I ain't
wear
got it on today.
you don't wear it. I wear it everywhere. So Damian, I brought you on because you have a specific skill set in the running back category here that we're talking about. Young right now, Bryce Young. So we'll get into RBs in a second. I want to ask you about Bijan from a running back perspective. You played running back in the NFL. I want to ask you about Jahmyr Gibbs and his size and get your take on that, because there's some people that think he's too small. So we'll get into that in a second. But on the topic of size, Bryce Young, obviously everybody's concerned about this kid's size. He showed complete command in practice today in his first practice, according to Panthers head coach. What do you think about size? How concerned are you as a former player when you see a guy like Bryce Young lining up under center with monster offensive linemen he can't necessarily see over if he's like under center, but he plays shotgun, or he can. I don't know what they're going to deploy all the time over in Carolina, but I love this kid. I think people that doubt him, you look at Kyler and how Kyler translated, and Kyler may have some issues. He's got the injury, obviously, but some you could say like leadership things that he needs to work on, and he's starting to do that. And I think new coaching and new staff will help facilitate that. But in my opinion, Kyler translated. His size didn't hold him back. Talk to that real quick about size, because you probably hear that stuff all the time.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you having me on the show, first off, man.
Yeah, of course.
Great to hear you. Great to see you again, bro. It's been a minute. It's been too long.
Yeah.
But size really doesn't matter anymore, man. We've been seeing that stuff even with basketball. Nate Robinson, the size really doesn't matter. It's a fight of the dog that really matters. Because look at Kyler Murray right now. He's killing it. I mean, right now these OCs are creating packages for these quarterbacks to succeed. So I think there'll be a special package made for him to succeed that'll geared toward what he's good at. So I don't really think the size should matter. Like I wouldn't worry about his size. I mean, he's been playing football his whole life, so I think he's going to do awesome for the Panthers.
Yeah, I love what I love about Bryce Young is that he's super intelligent, and we knew that coming into the combine. We knew that coming out of his college career. We knew he was coined as one of the best processing quarterbacks in college football. And you can see it on the field when he's processing something while he's navigating around and computing and figuring out where he needs to go next with the football, where he needs to take the football personally to extend a play. He's like one of the best play extenders I've seen come out of college in a while at the quarterback position. And then he goes and takes this test that Stroud reportedly didn't score well on. Stroud reportedly retook it. We don't know a score on it, but it was supposedly a lot better. And I don't put a lot of stock on those tests. When that's the only thing you're looking at. But when this kid scores the number one score on, whatever aptitude test, mental cognition test, and he's already coined as the best processing quarterback in this draft class by our eyeballs and scouts everywhere. It just, to me, I don't understand how people doubt him. I really think Bryce Young is going to go out there and light the league on fire. And I wouldn't be shocked if he was. I'm not going to put him in the top 5 quarterbacks because that group is super young, super great. Fields is in there, Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, Josh Allen. But like Trevor Lawrence and Lamar and those guys right
below. Hey, hold on. Hey. You forgot Lamar. Don't you dare forget Lamar.
I said Lamar. I said Lamar.
Okay,
right.
Okay.
Yeah. Lamar and Trevor Lawrence, and I think Bryce Young's going to sneak into that group right there, into that right below those top 4 or 5 that I just spoke on. So it's going to be like Trevor Lawrence, Bryce Young. I think Bryce Young's the best rookie quarterback from this draft class, and I think he's gonna take the league by storm. I really do. But moving on to RB, And talking about size, since we're talking about size, Jahmyr Gibbs is 199 pounds. A lot of people say he's too small, but we've seen players like Darren Sproles, who actually was a lot bigger than Jahmyr Gibbs, believe it or not. But we've seen a lot of other RBs, be questioned in terms of their size and ability to translate at the next level. Do you have any concerns at all with Jahmyr Gibbs? What do you think of Jahmyr Gibbs? Have you seen a lot of Jahmyr Gibbs? And are you, like everybody in this room, we're a huge Jahmyr Gibbs safe place right here. This is a big safe space for Jahmyr Gibbs. Do you think he's got the potential to be one of the elite running backs in the National Football League, even despite his 199-pound frame?
I mean, I think the league is transforming to the actual league that's going to be like more Deebo Samuel's type running backs out of the backfield, running backs that can do multiple variety of things. I think he's going to fit well in the league. He's very shifty, powerful, shows the power, shows his tenacity. So I think he's actually going to do good, man. I'm not really too concerned about his size. I'm more concerned with his ability, man, the way he can move with the ball in his hand.
Yeah, and he's so electric. He gets a seam, like just an opening, a crack in any, anywhere on the field, and the guy's like untouchable. He's such a speedy, shifty, fast kid. And I love, and I don't know if you saw the War Room reaction when they drafted him. Did you end up seeing that?
Sorry, your phone was breaking up, big dog.
Yeah, no problem. Did you end up seeing the War Room reaction, the Lions, when they took Jahmyr Gibbs? Did you see the response? Did you see the GM? Did you see the coach? Did you see how they responded when they drafted him?
Possession out there in Detroit. I think they got a jewel with him.
I think we got a little bit of a bad connection. Hey, Damian, try calling in one more time. Let's see if that will fix it. Just try clicking that one more time and dial in one more time. Maybe it'll be a clearer connection. Let's see if we can get him back in. But look, Damian Barry's the man. He's. Let's see if we can get him back in here. We got another potential guest coming in too, so. Let's see if this will work this time. Damien, can you hear me? What's up, man? I don't know why the connection is just bad today. I don't know what's going on, but can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now, brother.
Okay. My question earlier was, did you see the War Room reaction when the Lions took Jahmyr Gibbs? Did you see their reaction when they're screaming and yelling and picking each other up? And I was just gonna say, when you see something like that,
I definitely had a chance to see that.
Yeah, when you see something like that, I mean, they're really interested in using this kid. And I think the question for everybody when he was drafted was, oh my God, they didn't use DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift and Jahmyr Gibbs are similar in some ways. Swift had trouble staying healthy. They didn't use him, and now they're drafting this 199-pound kid that's a receiving type back, and they didn't use Swift the way they should have. So like there was some initial concern when the draft selection happened because it was a crowded room. Swift was still on roster, but as soon as people started to understand that Swift was on the move, he was not going to remain with the team. That's when Gibbs's fantasy value started to skyrocket. But yeah, to me, I'm not worried about the 199 pounds at all. I think he probably, don't you think he puts on a good 5 or 6 NFL pounds from just being in the weight room with NFL trainers and eating NFL food? And you know what I mean? Like, isn't that a common thing to put on like 6 pounds when you get in the pros?
Yeah, you definitely put on some weight just because of your eating habit, and your workout regimens was definitely changed, and the team was just set a weight for you to be at. I don't think his weight will be a problem. I think he's pretty durable. He doesn't have a record of being injury prone, so I think he's going to be a great fit for them, as long as they find the surrounding cast that can support his athletic ability. And I think right now these OCs are very, very creative in their play calling now and using guys like him. Like we just seen these past couple years with Debo Samuels, man. Small guy putting him in the backfield, making plays out of the backfield. So it's going to be an awesome pickup for them.
Yeah, we're excited. We got so much hype on Jahmyr Gibbs, and then the next guy, the last guy I'll ask you about, and then I want to ask you what you've been up to, and then I'll let you go because I know you're busy. But Bijan Robinson, like nobody's sleeping on him. Everybody knows he's on the way, but like we are higher here. And we are pretty high on rookie running backs on this channel, like especially because it stems from me being super high on them, obviously. But I'm really high on rookie running backs. Translating at the running back position at the NFL level immediately is the easiest thing to do in terms of rookies translating. It's there's the least amount of roadblocks for a running back. I'm sure you would agree. Do you think this guy is going to be the number one running back in the National Football League within a calendar year like we do? Are we being too optimistic? He doesn't seem to have a single hole in his game. I mean, he's the next LaDainian Tomlinson in my mind, and he's the best prospect since Barkley, since any of those guys coming out. What do you think about that? Is that too lofty in your mind, or do you see similar things out of him?
I want to say I see similar things, but the NFL is a different game from college, and he's one of my favorite backs out of college. He's one of my favorite. That's one guy I love watching. So I think that he's gonna have an awesome career, bro. I think he will come in and compete for the starting job because I just love physical running backs, physical and shifty. I love it.
Yeah, they're talking about playing him in the slot. He could get 300 carries his rookie year. It's crazy. And the way that the draft capital alone, number 8 overall, it just screams, we're going to use the hell out of him. So we're excited about him here. Are there any other rookies? I'll ask you.
100%.
Yeah, any other rookies? I'll just ask you real quickly. I don't know how much you've delved into the rookie class, but any other rookies that whether it's wide receiver, running back, in any other position, Anthony Richardson at quarterback, probably the most athletic player to ever come out of college. Not that will necessarily translate, but he's argued to be the most athletic player to ever come out of college, especially at the quarterback position. But are there any players like
really
that?
Like Ed Richardson, man.
Yeah, you think he's got a real shot?
Pretty. Bro, this stuff is bro, the way athletics are now is so much these kids are doing amazing stuff on the football field, bro. And this stuff it's like watching LeBron now. And every kid have a special niche. And this draft class that just came out it was similar to the one with CeeDee Lamb. It was everybody's has their niche and is spectacular at that niche.
Yeah.
It's been exciting. This is gonna be an exciting football season. I'm more so focused on running backs. I like seeing good running backs, bro. I'm kind of biased. I like watching good running backs. So that's what I watch most of the time. And I watch my Canes all the time.
Yeah.
Shout out to the University of Miami.
Yeah, we got a lot of people saying Miami. We got a lot of people in here saying Miami. This guy leading rusher. They love you in here. We got about 80 to 100 people popping in and out right now. It's still the off season, but we're ramping things up here. The channel's growing. We love to have you back on a semi-regular basis whenever you can. One more question for you. I lied. One more question. Running backs don't last. Yeah, running backs don't last like they used to. They don't. There's no Emmitt Smiths. There's no LaDainian Tomlinsons. Can you give us a substantial reason why that is? Is it because the NFL is harder hitting? Is it because these athletes are starting off at an earlier age, and just by the time they get to the pro level, they've got way more mileage than players in the past. What is one or two or whatever idea you have that can explain it? Because it's always a hard thing to process. Why do we not see a 30-year-old running back dominating anymore? It's 27-28 is literally a 2 or 3 year difference than it used to be, where a running back falls off. What's your take on that?
I mean, playing running back, it does take a toll on your body. But then again, the NFL is kind of like protecting these guys. Now, I think that their lifespan will go a little bit longer just simply because they're not pounding the ball as much. They're more so spreading out defenses and getting them in open space. So I think it'll be a more longer lifespan now than it was in the past. And then, again, kids are built different. Like, they're not built like we were built when we was coming up, like stocky, like the guys like Ricky Williams, like Edgerrin James, and the Beast Mode. Like, kids aren't built like that no more. They're smaller stature, faster, stronger, and more elusive, quite frankly. So, like, they're built more so like slot receivers. Like I keep on saying, like, I love the way Debo plays. Like, Debo is like one of my favorite athletes right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Debo's. Hopefully he doesn't get run into the ground though. But yeah, I agree. I agree that maybe we see. I think this is what you're trying to say is maybe we see the running back start to creep up and past this 27, 28-year-old age because they're coming out more like slot wide receivers, but. It has been the previous years, like the running backs currently in the league right now. You hit 27, the current guys, the guys that are turning 27, and you got Eckler he's turning 28, and there's concern of drop off because that 27-28 season's where the drop off now happens. It used to be 30, like back in like Priest Holmes' day, or even your day. You could turn 30. And go into that season, as long as you don't turn 31 before the season starts, statistically. And I know you're probably thinking, I'll take your statistics and shove it up your ass. I'm going to play till 32. I'm going to play till 33. Like, I get the mentality of the player. But the statistics would say that if you turned 31 before the season began, you were done. That was just the nature of this, the stats we were dealing with. Now it's 28. Now it's 28. And Derrick Henry defied it last year. But he's the only one to do it for a long time now. So, like, I'm just curious. Like, Todd Gurley, short shelf life. I feel like the knee injuries, they take a toll on RBs, and can, create that degenerative knee issues and things like that, like Todd Gurley, and it can happen quick. It'll be interesting if what you said ends up playing out to where, because these guys are smaller and more elusive and kind of like slot wide receivers, if it shifts back toward 29, we'll see. That's a good topic for sure.
So I think we gotta realize we got guys that are just like huge now too, and fast also. Like the DNs are running 4.4s now. You got linebackers running 4.3s.
What was your biggest yardage game at Miami?
My biggest yardage game was 169.
Woo! How many TDs did you have in that game?
2. That was a family. That was actually my first showcase.
Nice. I like it. Hey, what have you been doing lately? Tell everybody where they can find you, what you've been up to, and we'll definitely need to get you back on. I'm going to let you go after that because I know you're busy there. Where can they find you? Okay. What have you been up to?
D-Berry, D-Berry 20 on Instagram, DJ Berry 20 on Twitter. I've been just doing some development. I got a big project with the city of Revere, building three restaurants, 2 hotels, and marketplace and an amphitheater for the city of Revere. Just been developing, trying to build a legacy life after football, but just chilling, man. Just taking it all in, living it day by day.
Well, we got to get you on. All players are podcasting now. We need to get you on a regular spot here. DJ Berry 20 on Twitter. Is that correct? All one word? No underscore or anything? Sure. Okay. DJ Berry 20. Go check him out on Twitter. Go see what this guy's up to. Damian, appreciate you, man. And anytime. Yeah, I got a phone number on the phone number on the screen. I got a phone line that's always open, so you don't need an invitation. You could just call in and say, "Hey, put me on, send me a link," or you could just call in if you want to just be on anytime you want, man. We appreciate you.
Bro, you got my number, bro. You just call me, man. Text me, let me know when, and just shoot me a reminder like a couple minutes, like you just did, bro. You know I'll pop in.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Great knowledge as always. Everybody, go give this man a follow on Twitter, on Instagram, everywhere. Appreciate you, man. Have a good night.
No problem. Be easy now, my brother.
Yep. Good dude. Like he's an awesome guy. Damian Berry. Monster in college. Absolute monster. Super Bowl champ, by the way. I'm hoping that our other guy's going to come in. I don't know that he is. I give him a hard time because he's really hard to get on the show. And he constantly, he's busy though. My next guest, if he comes on, he's busy. So I'll wait until we see. Sorry, I couldn't take any calls. It was the bad reception and everything. I didn't want to make it too complicated. But dial in if you guys got any questions. It was, obviously, players look at things differently than we do. So sometimes, we hear stuff that, we feel like, okay, that makes sense, or that we feel a little differently about that. But from a player perspective, I do like to get player perspective sometimes. And he makes a good point. Like maybe in a couple years, and it takes a time for things to cycle through, right? Maybe in a couple years, the RB does last till 28 or 29 after a certain amount of time where these younger, smaller, speedier guys, sit in the NFL. We get the data on it. Like, could Jahmyr Gibbs play at 28 and 29 because he's smaller? Or could it be the flip side? Could he break down easier, quicker because he's getting hit and he's smaller? I don't know. The honest truth is, when running backs broke down at 30, 31, we didn't fully know that would change. We didn't know that would move toward 27, 28. So we don't know if it could be that Jahmyr Gibbs won't hold up because he's smaller and he will decline at 27, 28, or what Damian just said, could it potentially be that the smaller stature, quicker, speedier guys, for some reason they're getting half their work on receiving yards? That's why some people think Eckler could last this year, and I understand that. My whole thing with Eckler is he does feel already injury prone, and mix in the fact that he's been running between the tackles in a way that I don't think he was built for. I think he was built to do what he came into the NFL to do, which was 450 yards, and then most of his work on the flip side, getting that, potential 1,000-yard receiving season. That's what I think. And he was electric. If you remember, it's kind of impressive what Eckler's done. Eckler became a top 5 running back as a receiver/running back. And then when Melvin Gordon left the Chargers, they thrusted him into the every down between the tackles role, and he switched and flipped and went into a heavier yardage with a little lesser, but still a good divide, kind of Alvin Kamara-like, but heavier on the run. It's really amazing what Eckler's done, and kudos to Eckler, to the moon. I don't hate Eckler at all. I love Eckler. Eckler's an amazing running back, and I'm rooting for him to have one more year. But because he's been between the tackles the last couple of years, because he's got that kind of a little bit of an injury label, even though he played healthy last year. I'd rather jump a year early than a year late, but maybe Damian's right. Maybe the running back position will shift back to 28, 29, 30. You never know. I wouldn't count on it, but I kind of think that maybe running backs are just getting hit harder and they're starting to take hits at an earlier age. Maybe running backs are like embedded in their role from a younger age, taking a beating earlier. Kids are stronger. Like, think about it like compounding. If you're in Pop Warner and people are hitting harder and stronger in Pop Warner than people are hitting harder and stronger in high school as a freshman. People are hitting harder and stronger as a junior, a senior, as a freshman in college, as a sophomore in college. Eventually compounding, that's going to take a toll differently than in years past. So I kind of think if I had to guess the reason why a RB falls off at 28 instead of 30, that's my take on it. And I don't know that changes or not, but it's certainly an interesting perspective to say that if they change in stature, maybe it changes for the good or the bad. And that was a kind of an interesting take. Rock out, you're live, pal.
Oh, what's up? I got a Dynasty question.
Hit me with it.
Yeah, I got the 102, and I got a trade offer for Lawrence for the 104. So essentially, I would have 2 first-round picks.
I got some major background noise. If that's rock out, that's okay.
That's not me.
If it's Tyler, can you mute? Because it sounds like you're climbing Mount Everest right now. And just hit mute real quick, Tyler, and then you can jump off mute. Rock out, I'm sorry. Please repeat that one more time.
Yeah, I got a trade offer for Trevor Lawrence for the 104, and I have the 102. So essentially, I would have 2 first-round picks. But Lawrence is the more proven quarterback.
Lawrence for the 102, and what else?
No, Lawrence for the 104, and I already have the 102. So
you already have the
2
102.
first-round picks.
T-Law for the 104. I'd rather have T-Law. Like, that's not even close. I like the 104. I guess if you told me Gibbs would fall and you felt good at quarterback, I would consider that. Like, if this is super flex, Gibbs could fall. That's the kind of thing that I would, contemplate, I suppose. But in a nutshell, I'm waiting on my markers, so I have to use this paper towel right now. In a nutshell, I would say, I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence. In Superflex, Trevor Lawrence is going in the top 7 overall. Even if we look at where Gibbs would be placed not in the first round in a Superflex. He would go in round 2. Even Bijan would be borderline first-round material in a Superflex because you'd have 7 or 8, 9 quarterbacks in the top 12. And T-Law is one of those top 8, top 7. So 1.4 equivalent, not showing up in the first round in the startup draft if you put a player here. So no. What else you got, Rock Out? Anything else? Actually, hang tight. Let's go over to Tyler. Tyler, is that still you making all the ruckus over there? What can we do for you, Tyler?
Yeah, just quick question. I got a guy that's offering me Eckler and nothing, basically.
Eckler plus
for
nothing.
A first round and Sanders. My hang up is that next year in 2024 I'll have it's a team that I just picked up. I'll have 5 first round 2024s of the 10 teams.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's. Yeah, I would say.
What's the best option? Should I just hold and keep Sanders, or swap them and have
where's the first rounder gonna be?
It's a future 2020. It's a future 2024.
Okay, but where's it gonna be? Like, if you had to guess, what's the team look like?
Mid, but he keeps on wanting this certain one that is going to be probably, I would have personally guessed, probably early.
Early. Like top 3 early?
Top 3, top 5-ish.
Okay. I'd probably rather have...
Because he keeps on bugging me about this one certain team. So I'm thinking, he wants this certain one. So he knows probably a little bit more than me. So he's thinking, okay.
Would I give up a late one?
This one for a certain reason.
Would I give up a late one? Maybe if I felt like I could win now. And that's even coming from, a doubting Eckler plays a whole... elite season. Not to mention, everybody was hurt last year. They leaned on Eckler in a massive way that probably won't be repeated this year. They've got the weapons back. They're adding Quentin Johnston. There's so many reasons why Eckler won't get the volume and targets that he got last year. But on top of that, I'm worried about him staying healthy. But if it was a late first rounder and you could win, even if you got, let's say, 6 games, and then he missed 4 games, then he came back and finished strong, that's the kind of like missing time you would hope for if he did miss time. And I still think he'll start off the season on fire, and you could potentially even trade him. But if this is an early first, no way. If you're giving up a late first, maybe. But Sanders is pretty decent in his own right anyway for this year. I'd say no, bro. I would say no. Especially if you're building, that's not something that I would entertain.
Sanders looks like my running back 2, maybe 3, tied with like Aaron Jones.
Yeah,
but he just the only one that he would trade pick wise for is this certain one.
Well, that's his fault.
Absolutely certain one, and it sounds like he knows more about picks than I do.
Well, just say no.
Because the only pick that he wants is this other guy's. So,
just what you do is you call him up and you.
He thinks that this other guy's will be extremely early.
Yeah, no, don't do it, bro.
Year.
Whenever you question it, don't do it. If you're concerned about it, don't do it. If you don't know, don't do it. If you feel weary about it, don't do it. Every trade offer you do when you're skeptical and hesitating and stutter stepping, almost 99% of the time is a bad move. So if you don't feel like you know enough about...
Even though that I kind of think that Eckler is going to run circles around Sanders.
Well, if you believe he's going to have a really healthy season and you can win, by all means, trust your gut. But if that's an early first rounder, I'd rather have the early first rounder. If this could be a top 3 pick, I'd rather give up a late second rounder. And if who cares what he says? If he says, I'm not doing that unless I get that, then say, okay, walk away. Get up from the table, walk away. Don't let him control the situation. Don't give up a top 3 pick.
The only question that I had was about the rookies because I'm not really educated when it comes to rookies. I only know
top 3 pick, no way.
Eckler versus Sanders.
Top 3 pick, no way. All right, hey Tyler, appreciate you. Tyler, call back if you have another question. But no, don't do that. All right, later, pal.
Okay, bye.
Let's go to Trading Frank. Trading Frank, what's up, guy?
Hey, brother, I got a couple. So Drake London, since you were talking about Miles Sanders, I've got an offer I have Miles Sanders, and it's an IDP Dynasty League. So would you trade Miles Sanders? And it's Holcomb. He's a linebacker. He got just signed by the Pittsburgh Steelers for Drake London straight up.
You're trading away Holcomb?
Yeah, I'll be trading away Holcomb and Sanders for Drake London.
I would take Drake London personally, but it depends on how you are depth wise. Like, can you
see? I'm good. Sanders is my 4th running back.
What about Holcomb?
I'm competing, and that's the only thing. I just feel like Drake London's going to be not really helping me, where Sanders really would. But I feel like I need to take advantage of this offer.
Yeah, I would. Even if you can flip it. Even if you can flip it later, keep in mind all your trades don't have to happen before week 1. So many people feel like they got to get it all in before the whistle blows and the season starts. But you could make this trade and you could flip London like a house, in week 3. But it depends on your depth though. It depends on your depth though. If you're covered, if you've got a good IDP depth, then I would consider it. Because IDP players. Where are you drafting him? Where are you drafting Holcomb in a startup draft right now? What round?
Man, honestly, a lot of people are saying they're not drafting him. He got injured last year.
I know.
He was out all last year. So,
but where would you draft him?
Not really. Like I said, this is this is my 3rd year into this dynasty draft. So Holcomb, I picked him up. I think might even been a free agent. I don't remember when I drafted him. I'm not curious. I've actually looked into IDP mock draft, and I never see him get picked up.
Yeah,
so
and every IDP
where he's really getting drafted.
Every IDP league's a little different too. The scoring, the strategy, where players are getting drafted. Are IDP guys going like literally in the double digit rounds for the most part? Are they going in round 4 or 5?
Yeah, he's a 20-point. He was a 20-point linebacker. That's the reason why I got it. But he's just been hurt. That's one problem. He hasn't played a full 17.
I mean, you go pick up another if you've got good linebacker depth, or you could pick someone up. Then I mean, grab them, man. I would say do it in a heartbeat, just because of London's turnaround value is going to be so much better. It's going to be so much better.
Okay.
I don't value.
Where are we at with? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, A-Chain. I like A-Chain. I think A-Chain, Chase Brown, Roshan Johnson. They're all in a similar bucket. And there's an opportunity.
So I want to trade for him in a dynasty. Like literally, like this one girl, like someone picked him up first round, literally with a 1.10. I'm just saying, I've seen him go in like other leagues where I've got him in my second round. Like, what is his value, like trade wise? Like, what is a fair offer? Or what should I be really offering for A-Chain? Because like I value him high with the Dolphins position, but then I don't really know what he's gonna be, so I don't really kind of know what to offer for him.
Who's your wide receiver 4 and your running back 4?
In this league, sorry, one sec. So this is a start 10. So I'm not that deep. But like I'm playing to win, and I got Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, the tight end premium. I got George Kittle and Goddard, Debo, and then after that, like for 3 and 4, I guess I'm kind of looking at Hopkins and Thielen.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't give up Hopkins. Well, yeah, I probably wouldn't. I don't know. You could give up Hopkins for A-Chain, but the problem with A-Chain, Chase Brown, Roshan, they're not guaranteed anything. So it's like if A-Chain was in positioning, good positioning, and we don't know that he could be, then I would be very, very eager to trade Hopkins away. But I feel like Hopkins could still help you win now. If you can't win now, then that's a whole different story, and you could go down that road. But I feel like Hopkins still could get you a tad more than these spec running backs, and he's a spec running back for sure. We got Angry Angus saying Bijan's not worth it. We got Space Ricky over here. Would you give up Godwin, Hollywood Brown, and Pollard for the 1.3 rookie pick and Olave? Space Ricky, I'd only do that trade if you like winning, and take a lap for asking. But I appreciate you, Space Ricky. Yeah, bro. I mean, A-Chain just depends. Who'd you say your 4th and 5th running back were?
It's like Adam Thielen and
no, running back.
Adam and running back. I got on that league. Hold on, I'm sorry, I jumped out. Yeah, I'm CMC, Saquon. I got both their backups, and then I'm doing pretty much. I got a bunch of rookies. Like I got Abaconda, I got Deuce Vaughn, I got not a lot. I'm really just doing like rookies back. Yeah,
the only thing I would say is like, can you trade Kittle for A-Chain and something like because you have Goddard and Kittle's. I don't know how much time he's got left, and the fact that you have Goddard, and if it's a tight end premium, then I would want a lot more. But if it's just normal scoring for tight ends, I mean, A-Chain and something. You can't just do Kittle for A-Chain, but that's the one like place in your lineup where you only need one. You only need one tight end, right? So, if you're that high on A-Chain and you think he's going to be the guy, are you really going to let a guy in Kittle who abuses his body, probably has 1 to 2 years left? His shelf life is not going to be long.
Mm-hmm. And I like that because, like, I'm trying to move off. I've been trying to actually move off of the 49ers because I don't know how it happened, but I ended up with CMC, Kittle, and Debo. And so I'm just trying to move off of one.
Well, there you go.
Like
there you go.
Go get
A-Chain. Move up in the draft, like selection. Move from like 2.8 I don't know if you could move your second rounder or third rounder into or get a second rounder and something. I don't know. Like some might say, don't trade Kittle. And I get that if you feel like you can win and dominate now, if you believe Kittle is going to be elite.
I like that. But what should I get for Kittle? If I'm getting A-Chain and I'm sending, like, what else plus? What should I be getting back with?
You know what I would do? Kittle? I would get more complicated with it. What wide receivers do you have again? Debo and who?
Debo is, I wanted to move off, but I have Debo, and then I have DK Metcalf, and I have Cooper Kupp. And then I got a bunch of rookies. Like I have
Who does he have at wide receiver? Let's cook up a big deal. Because if you could upgrade Debo into like an Olave, and send him Kittle, and he sends you A-Chain, now we're talking. Now we're talking about a double upgrade.
He does have Olave.
Bro.
He has Olave.
Bro, I'm psychic, bro. Olave's not there yet. People don't see him coming, bro. You trade Debo or DK with Kittle. Does he have no tight end? Tell me he has no tight end. Tell me he doesn't have Kelsey or somebody.
Hold on. He's sitting on Hawkinson and Pitts.
He's got Hawkinson.
Yeah.
And Pitts, bro. Yeah. That just crapped all over it. We're almost there. We were almost there. He doesn't need Kittle. You're not going to get A-Chain using Kittle then. Maybe you could trade. How about this? Maybe you trade Cooper Kupp or Debo plus something else, like a couple second round picks for Olave and A-Chain. I mean, you could always try it. Like, I don't know how he values Cooper Kupp, but I'd take Olave in a heartbeat in a dynasty keeper format over Cooper Kupp anyway, quietly, but I bet you Cooper Kupp still commands more value than Olave. That might require an A-Chain throw in a second rounder. That's what you got to do.
Do you think Cooper Kupp's more valuable than Diggs?
Yeah. Well, I think you
Cooper Kupp, and I have Josh Allen as my QB.
You could argue it. Either way, bro. Right. Honestly,
that's probably the stick with Kupp.
I'd trade Kupp for Olave. That should get you an A-Chain. If you got to throw in a second rounder, so be it. I throw in a couple of second rounders.
Okay.
All right. Trading Frankie, Thank you. Appreciate you. Good luck with your trading.
Thank you for the info, sir. You're the man.
Yeah. Rock out. What else you got? Space Ricky, take a lap. Or he did take a lap.
I'm like on a total rebuild. Would you take Gibbs or Young at the 102?
What does your quarterback situation look like?
Hold up one sec. Hold up.
I mean, bro.
Stafford, Love, and Lawrence. I'm taking over for someone.
Stafford, Love, and Lawrence?
Yeah.
I like Love and Lawrence enough to go Gibbs at 1.2, bro. I'm not forcing quarterback when you got a nice upside player in Jordan Love. That's a nice upside player. T-Law, obviously, he's just fine. I'm fine with that. I'm not forcing quarterback. Some people would. I like Bryce Young a lot. I really do. But Gibbs, to me, who are your RBs before we lock it in?
It's pretty struggling.
Then
my main two is Chubb and Hall.
Well, that's not struggling. But you could throw Gibbs in your flex, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, but that, I'd probably go Gibbs, especially if like your flex is a lot lesser player. But if you have if you have three amazing wide receivers, you start two wide receivers and you start one wide receiver as a flex, and you can't use Gibbs necessarily. Like, I think you'll use Gibbs, but I just mean like if you're stacked or something, then maybe you consider QB. But bro, I go Gibbs. I go best player available. I love Bryce Young. This video is about Bryce Young. But Gibbs is obviously a guy I talk about more than a Bryce Young. So give me Gibbs. I'm not even hesitating.
Yeah, I'm even struggling worse at receiver, but I think I'll take Gibbs.
Yeah, but maybe you trade one of the RBs later for a wide receiver, but I definitely would take Gibbs. Gibbs is going to be easy. He's going to be nice trade bait too. Like you could go get yourself an Olave plus. You could go get yourself a London plus, a Watson plus. You'll have a pretty easy time doing that. Hold on one second. Trading Frank, did you get another offer while you hung up?
Well, this one's kind of big. Not big, but I got to get your info. Kamara, I got 2024, 3rd, 4th, and 5th for Kamara. I'll be getting Kamara. Smash.
A 2024 3rd, 4th, and 5th?
For Kamara. I'll be sending the picks.
Yeah, I don't care about third rounders, bro.
All right?
Do it live.
Easy money.
I mean, if you've got a shot at winning, I imagine you do, or you wouldn't be getting a player that in 2 years might fall off. Yeah.
No. I'm like playing to win this year right now.
Smash. Easy.
All right, my bad. I'll let you go.
All right, later. All right, rock out. Appreciate you.
Hey, Smitty.
Yeah. What else you got?
Hey, Smitty.
What?
Can you tell this one guy to take a laugh on this trade offer you sent me?
Yeah. What is it?
He wanted my 102 and my 202 for Najee Harris and Tony.
102 and 202, and he was going to give you Najee
and Tony.
I don't know if that's take a lap. I mean, I like Gibbs more, so I like this side more. But I don't know that. I don't know that I would say that Najee and Tony's take a lap material. But I would rather have the 1.02 just because I love Jahmyr Gibbs. But Najee's pretty solid, and a lot of people love Tony. But in a Dynasty startup, let's break it down. In a Dynasty startup, Jahmyr Gibbs is going in the top 10 overall. If not next week or the next month, right now even. It just depends on the community. He's climbing into the top 12 overall Dynasty. There's just no debate about it. I don't care where you're drafting. I don't care what magazine you're looking at. I don't care how long you've been dormant and living under a rock and you're like, what? What are you talking about? Smitty, he's a part-time running back. Smitty, he's 199 pounds, Smitty. Everybody's going to get on board. Everybody's going to get on board. Believe it. It's happening. So this is a top 12 overall player in Dynasty startups. Najee is going in round 4 right now. Kadarius Toney's going in what, 8, 9? I don't know.
Yeah,
somewhere in there. So you know what? We'll make him take a lap. But I just don't want it to feel like I don't like Najee by making someone take a lap. But the ADP is completely off on this one. So you know what? We're going to tell him to take a lap right now. You are correct. This is not acceptable. Let me hit the River Boys. Let's let the River Boys do the talking here.
All right. You are offer sex. You are paid offer sex.
So yeah, we took care of that one, Rock Out. You're right. At the end of the day, that is take a lap material because the values just don't they just don't add up.
Don't matter.
Yeah, but the reason I didn't want to hit it is because I don't want anybody to think I'm down on Najee's value. His value is fantastic in the 4th round. But yeah, you can't. I mean, if Najee's going around 3 or 4, Gibbs is going top 12. Tony is not a gap closer there. So, it's a crafty move if you could get the right kind of difference maker. I don't think Tony closes the gap in terms of ADP value. For sure. Ron Navy, you're live. I'm sure you called because you heard, in your mind, let me guess, in your mind, you heard Najee Harris slander.
No.
Oh, okay. What's up, Ron?
I just wanted to run a trade that just happened in our league.
All right, hit me with it.
And if you think this is a good trade, all right. So player 1 gets the 508, the 506, and Bijan Robinson. Player 2, for giving up Bijan, gets the 512 and the 511, gets Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, and a future first-round draft pick.
Saquon, Derrick Henry, and a 2024 first?
No, Team 1 gets the 506, the 58, and Bijan Robinson.
Hold on a second. Let me stop these from coming through.
Got it.
Do I have it right? Have you seen it?
Saquon.
In a 2024 first rounder?
And a 24 first rounder, yeah.
So this is hard to evaluate from. I'm not saying that there isn't a side to this. Someone says I don't like the River Boys. The River Boys are here to stay. That is a staple on the show. Your trade offer sucks. What are you talking about? That's one of the most magnificent, absolutely magnificent. Your trade offer sucks segments you could have, or little clips. That's a famous clip. What are you talking about? Okay, so Ron, I'd have to say, I kind of need to know who's there in these spots. Let's just call this like not a wash. Obviously, this is a move up, but these are relatively close picks. So I'm trying not to factor it in too much, but it is an upgrade. So Bijan and a nice little upgrade. Who knows who falls?
In the startup. It's a startup. You know that. Dynasty startup.
I mean, this is a hard trade to analyze. I mean, someone might say,
That's why I'm asking you, because I can't figure it out.
I mean, I'd rather have the Bijan side. I know that sounds crazy to some people who still love Henry, but Saquon, in a dynasty startup, Saquon Barkley has how many years left? He suffered the major ACL tear, wasted the 1 year coming back, had a great year last year, probably will have a great year this year. Probably will have maybe one more year after that, and then we take it year to year. I'm not saying he only has the 1 year left in maybe the second year, but we got to take it 1 year at a time, after this year probably. So he plays this year good, and then we say 1 year at a time. This one more season after that. One more season after that. Henry, I think, probably will ball out the first month of the season. I really believe that. And Henry has one of the best schedules, if not the very best schedule in the playoffs this 2023. He plays, I think, the Houston Texans twice in those final 3 weeks. I think, if I have that correct in my brain here, I think in the final 3 weeks he plays the Texans twice, if I remember that correctly. Can anybody confirm that in the chat? Look it up for me. So if he's healthy at that point and he's balling out, it could be a decent move for this year. But Henry next year is going to be in the 5th, 6th round, if even there, depending on if he's healthy. Coming out of the season, Saquon's got the 1 to 2 years. I don't know where the 24 first rounder is unless somebody tells me, hey, it's very good chance it's going to be top 3. Like, as of right now, I'm assuming middle of the pack, and I don't know if you could even guesstimate. Middle of the pack seems safe. And you're getting a major bump in these two like, who knows what players you get at 5.08 and 5.6. Can you tell me who's available at 5.08 right now? Who's available at 5.6? Are these picks on the clock or 5.6 on the clock?
Yeah, they're the 5.6 is on the clock right now.
And who's available?
Let's see. Swift, Mixon, Cook, Kittle, Kamara, Pittman, Godwin, Dobbins, Sanders, Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, White, Cook, McLaurin, AJ Jones Jones, running back, Judy, Akers, Sharp, Hopkins, Goddard. Burns, Schultz.
So the drop off's already pretty like big.
Deep. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't even know. I mean, I guess if you took like a McLaurin here, that's pretty good. I don't know what other rookies are here. You don't have to show your hand. If you feel there's a significant difference between the 5.06 pick.
this doesn't have anything to do with me whatsoever. It's just a trade that happened. And
Okay. I look. I would say. I would say this. I would say this initially looks good for the Saquon owner, maybe out of the gate because of what Henry and Saquon could do. Like, this guy could win the league if Saquon and Henry both stayed healthy, which I think is a tall order for Henry, but is it within the realm of possibility? I suppose, sure. Like, how much? 20%? If I had to just throw a ridiculously guesswork number at it, I'd say 20% chance Henry plays 14 games. 20%. He's a massive man that defied all odds last year. And I was wrong. I thought he would drop off last year. I was a year early. I'd rather be a year early than a year late. Any situation where I predicted his decline and picked another player doesn't mean I lost. Like, I still drafted a player I loved. So it's not like you lose because you jump early on a player. You're getting Bijan. You're getting Bijan for 4 to 6 years of being potentially the number one overall running back in fantasy football. I personally would rather a Bijan the 5.8 and 5.6, especially given that you named off a lot of players, and there are about 2 or 3 that I like a lot right here. I personally would take Swift, and then I'd take McLaurin, or I'd take Mike Evans. If you give me Swift and Mike Evans, Swift and McLaurin and Bijan, it's going to probably smash this trade down below. But if you miss on the 5.08 and 5.6, it could potentially put it back to even, or for year one, you're a little bit behind. But if I took Swift at 5.06, and that's who I would take, and I know you don't like him, Ron, but I would be ecstatic if I could get Swift over Saquon or Barkley or Henry, like if that was my downgrade, so to speak, and I got McLaurin, I'd be totally fine with it. Give me Bijan.
I'm with you with the Henry. I mean, I like Henry, but I don't like Henry in a dynasty league. You get 1 year. This could be his last year. You get out of him. How do you get rid of him?
Yeah.
If Saquon, he doesn't want to play on the franchise tag, so let's say he holds out, then you're kind of screwed there too. If he holds out for any amount of time, not saying that he will, but it's a possibility if he's not happy. I just perplexed me because I thought the guy who had Bijan originally had a strong team going, and I don't know why he would do that. Move down in the draft and then give up Bijan for Saquon and Henry.
Yeah, I guess the only thing we're not factoring in here is we're guessing on the 24 first rounder. Is it possible if it's this guy's pick and he's giving up all this and he's got Bijan and not a whole lot left, and let's say Bijan, I'm knocking on wood here, God forbid, let's not even use injury. Let's just say he gets abducted on a hike and he comes back safe and sound after the season's over, but he's missing the entire season, okay? Comes back safe and sound. He's ready to rumble in 2025 or 2024. If this guy gets Marvin Harrison Jr., then guess what? We're back to this side winning the trade. So it just depends. Let's move on, since this isn't even a trade of yours. I go Bijan for sure. Angus came in here and said Bijan's not worth it. Not talking about this specific thing, but Angus said Bijan's not worth it. I don't know. Angus, you're free to call in and debate the Bijan route here and tell us why we're all off base on Bijan and liking Bijan as a top, not just top 5 running back. Angus, look into my eyes, Angus. Bijan is running back 1, Angus. Bijan, you're in a room where this man right in front of you says Bijan's running back 1 as a rookie. I'm not saying take him there, Angus. I'm saying that you're going to be angrier than normal, Angry Angus, if you end up passing on this kid at value way below running back 1 value in a dynasty startup or a redraft. He's my number 1 redraft running back, Angus. Get on board. Get on board. He's headed to the moon, pal.
To the moon.
Appreciate you, though, Angus. Appreciate you. What else is going on, Ron?
No, that's just about it. I couldn't believe that. I mean, it does affect me. That trade affects me a little, and for where players are going. But
I'm not interested in any of those players. So,
except for Bijan. D. Cannon, you're live.
Smitty, what's going on, man?
What's up, Cannon?
I just want to mess with you today about Bijan, man. I actually like Bijan, and I think he's going to do great. But I wanted to see where you get, like, for instance, man, I've been following you since you were very big on CEH. you were big on Bryce. You were big on Clyde. You were big on Bijan, obviously. And it seems to me like every year you kind of push for these rookie running backs to be top tier their rookie year. So I kind of just wanted to, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I wanted to see why do you kind of have a pattern of feeling that way.
Well, I mean, number one, running backs translate immediately. Number two, it's not just every running back, it's specific running backs. It's, especially when we talk about, like, it's so easy to say Gibbs is the man right now and kind of everybody's on board. But back in January, Gibbs was not necessarily the consensus number 2 overall RB. There were people that had running backs all over the map at 2 and 3. And Zach Evans was at one point, like in the late part of last year, a front runner for a lot of people to be the number 2 running back, and he fell off the map. And so it's like a lot of it comes down to pinpointing the right rookies. But when you look at what Bryce Hall did last year, and everybody was down on him, like, look around. Like, I had him probably higher than anybody you can find because I'd take him at the 2-3 turn. And granted, he tore his ACL, and I can't control that. But Bryce Hall was well on his way to massively blasting his ADP value to pieces at that 2-3 turn. And people were trying to tell you to take him in round 4 because he's a rookie. And look what happened to Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Clyde Edwards-Helaire missed, but he missed for a lot of people. A lot of people love Clyde. His ADP was in the top, like, 12 to 14 overall his rookie year. So the whole fantasy football community, and you may have been out there one of the people that doubted him, they were sold on Clyde. Everyone was sold on Clyde on a grand scale. But just because I miss on one rookie does not mean I'm going to stray away from any rookies of the future because this happened. It has no relation. In fact, I still think for some odd reason people undervalue rookies, and Gibbs to me is generational as well, potentially. I think Bijan is the word generational. We had that guy calling Greg the other day saying that I couldn't say multiple players were generational, and I don't agree with him. He can define it however he wants. Within the confines of what he said, I changed it for him. I go, if this is the rule, I can't make more than one running back generational. I told the guy on the phone, then Bijan's generational, everybody else gets removed. If I could only choose one, there you go. Bijan's generational. But I believe generational to me, and I can define it however I want. Generational to me is you are one of a kind, and there could be a couple diamonds in the rough. And one of a kind, I get what that might mean to some people, but I think there are people that can be tied in value. There could be guys that are just because you can't call LeBron generational and not, Kobe, or even when Kobe and Jordan were on the court at the same time, you can't call Jordan generational and not Kobe generational. Like, it's a ridiculous argument to me. So for me, I do have Gibbs as a potential generational player. I do have Bryce Hall as a potential generational player, and I do have Bijan 100% as a potential generational player and the leader of the generational players. To me, those 3 RBs are the potential future. And could I miss on one of them? Sure. One could get hurt. Bryce Hall got hurt. But I mean, it's not just throwing mud at the wall. I'm not high on every running back. In fact, Blake Corum, if he would have come out, Blake Corum would have been the consensus number 2 running back. And I would have told you to stay away. I'm not big on Blake Corum. Maybe he proves me wrong with another year of maturing and getting better. But Blake Corum he reminds me a lot of Spiller in Los Angeles. Everyone likes Spiller coming out, backing up Eckler right now. He was slow in every category at the combine. He looked slow on the field. He didn't outperform any of his counterparts or replacements or players that would spell him. In fact, he was sometimes less effective than those people that would replace him. He was not a good prospect at all. And so if anybody thinks I just throw mud at the wall, I'm not saying you're suggesting that, but people have in the past, then if Blake Corum would have come out, I would have said, stay away, go get Jahmyr Gibbs instead. So I get what you're saying, but if it was that easy, Cannon, if it was as easy as, well, Smitty, you're just calling rookie running backs, that's why you're landing these. Why isn't anybody else doing it? Why is everybody else cautious on Jahmyr Gibbs? Why does Jahmyr Gibbs have a 4.1 ADP right now when he really deserves a top 12 to 15 ADP? Like, I don't know. All I know is I'm calling it out because it's sticking out like a sore thumb. You know what I'm saying?
No, I definitely agree with you, Smitty. And I've seen you, like Javonte, when he came out, he wasn't, I don't think he was like the best running back in that class.
No.
Oh, he wasn't, they didn't view him like that. And
he was
still
2-3.
He still had him as a top back. And if he didn't get hurt, he would have went crazy.
I know.
Same thing with Brees. So
yeah.
I definitely, I agree with you. I just wanted to see how you were, how were you coming up with the, how, you know what I mean? Like, how,
yeah, there's no formula to rookie running backs, bro. Like, it's not like, oh, I'm going to predict rookie running backs and I'm going to land it X number of times. I literally could tell you if I didn't like the running back class, if I didn't see elite talent in them to the generational tune, I would come out and tell you, like Blake Corum, just because Blake Corum was the consensus number 2, I would have come out and said, bro, I don't like him. I don't like him. If I don't like the running back stable, I won't come out and like them. I won't just come out and say, oh, they're awesome. Just like I'm not coming out and saying that these wide receivers are like the sophomore class. They're not. I would take Christian Watson over every single rookie wide receiver. I would take Drake London over every single rookie wide receiver. I would take Olave or Garrett Wilson. Olave or Garrett Wilson over all four of the rookie wide receivers. If you could hand me 4 of them, I'd rather have Garrett Wilson. If you could hand me all 4 of them, I'd rather have Drake or Chris Olave. If you could give me Hyatt, Downs, Tank Dell, and Mingo, all 4 of those guys, I'd take all 4 of them over any one of the top 4 rookie wide receivers. If you could give me all 4, because I think one of those 4 are going to land. And I'm not so sure about the top 4 rookie wide. So I'm not all about rookies. You know, it really just depends on the player. And you ask me what's my process, eyeball test. Like, there's a lot of stats that go into it to confirm. But like, am I gut driven and eye test first? Absolutely. You know, some people I've literally had conversations and debates with analysts before who have like admitted I don't really watch a lot of the games. I go off a lot of the stats and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you even doing in this business? Go play fantasy baseball where you literally don't have to watch a game. Fantasy baseball, there's so many games. How many games are in baseball? Is it 182? What is it?
I believe so.
160.
160
or 167.
Whatever it is. That number of games, that amount of data, if you're a 6.7 points per game player, you are a 6.7 points per game player. You don't change. You are what you are. You are your average. And that's baseball. You literally, there's so many games, you can get that data, and it is what it is. And you don't have to watch a single bit of baseball, and you can play fantasy baseball and be an absolute dominant player. But in football, you can go 6 games without doing shit. And you could go out in week 7 on and be the best running back in the National Football League. This is the NFL. This is the eyeball test. This is where the eye test matters. And this is where rags can become riches in the snap of a finger. This is where Derrick Henry, my first, and you could say, Smitty, you're down on Derrick Henry. I've showed it on the live stream before. My very first video was, don't cut Derrick Henry. Don't cut Derrick Henry. Because he'll eventually take the job, because he couldn't steal the job away from Deion Lewis, who was about third the size of him. He couldn't steal the job away from DeMarco Murray. He couldn't steal the job away from either one of them. He couldn't get any room behind that line of scrimmage. He couldn't hit the hole. He didn't even know how to navigate back there, despite being so good in high school and college. Derrick Henry struggled in a massive way when he hit the NFL. My first video was, don't cut Derrick Henry, because everybody was cutting him. He can be the biggest rags to riches player in fantasy football and win you a league and be the best pickup in a dynasty or keeper league when people were cutting him because he was a backup that wasn't translating. And he was in the league a little while. It wasn't like, oh, his second year, he's coming around. He was literally lingering in the league. This is fantasy football is where someone could go from rags to riches in a snap of a finger. And so, like, deciding what players to like, it takes a lot of gut instinct. And the stats, and people say, Smitty, I know you're not an analytic guy, you're not a stat guy. That's not true. It's just my stats and analytics back up what my gut and my eyeballs tell me. And that's how I love to play. There's no other way I'd rather play. You know, I would much rather go off my gut and say, this is an outlier. And I use a lot of stats. I mean, if someone says you're not a stat guy, then why do I cite injury, 28-year-old running backs? I have that all over the place. But I do leave room and a crack of an opportunity for a player to defy the odds. And I love that. And there's times where I do it. And I'll admit when I do it. I'll say, look, I know that I say this all the time, but I got a feeling. I got a gut feeling. There was a bold prediction I made. I missed on Clyde. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back. I've missed on a lot of things. Clyde, I liked Mims, Denzel Mims, Marvin Mims' brother. There's a lot of misses. You have a lot of misses. When you crank out as much content as I do, you miss a lot of things. It's natural. You know, if you missed more than you landed, you wouldn't have followers. So clearly, you know, we hit here on the channel.
You hit way more than you missed.
Yeah,
Smitty, because I've been watching you for years. I've actually won a lot of leagues from your opinion and watching your show and
I appreciate
keeping
it.
up with yeah, you.
Do you remember?
Definitely hit way.
Do you remember the Victor Cruz prediction? Were you with me then?
No, I don't remember that.
Yeah, so one of my top 10 bold predictions, because the bold predictions are on thefantasyfootballshow.com. That's what, you know, I was before I started YouTube. That was my famous thing, the bold predictions. Nobody really had bold predictions. Kind of coined that in the industry in like 2002, 2003. So I go on NBC Sports Radio, CBS Sports Radio, did it for 19 straight years, dropping the famous bold predictions. And I went on, and I forget if we're on NBC or CBS at that time, but I went on and I said Victor Cruz, and everyone said, who in the hell is Victor Cruz? I said, I'm picking 10 bold, it used to be 10 bold predictions. I've expanded it to like 12, 13. But it was 10 bold predictions, so it was very specific. I couldn't choose a bunch of things and throw mud at the wall. It was very, very measured. It was 10 bold predictions. My reputation was on the line every year. I'd go on the radio, and I said, Victor Cruz is going to be a top, 7 to 10 wide receiver. And people were like, who in the hell is this guy? And that was like one of those big stabs in the dark. There are so many times where I feel frustrated, though, because I swear a player has the ability and injury takes him out. I am so confident in Javonte Williams, and maybe I go to my grave never knowing if Javonte Williams would have ever been what we wanted. Maybe he does what Barkley does. He has kind of a struggle bus year, but comes back and lights the league on fire. Maybe he comes back mid-season, lights the league on fire. We don't know. Maybe he never does anything ever again. But I will go to my grave saying Javonte Williams would have been a top 1 to 5 running back last year had he not gone down. All the Melvin Gordon petrified Peters out there were shut down the moment this team they cut Melvin Gordon. They were begging any running back, Lat Murray, anybody. Can anybody come and be the lone workhorse back for us? Anybody. That's when Javonte would have flourished. He would have flourished. This guy's elusive, tackle-breaking monster. And, sometimes you miss, and sometimes you can never, ever prove you were going to be right. You just have to take your lumps. And good God, man, I still have nightmares over Javonte tearing his ACL. I still have nightmares over Breece Hall tearing his ACL. The amount of championships that would have been won by those two predictions and all of us coming together on those two predictions would have been a story for the ages. But we got to adjust and adapt, and we just got to keep moving.
Definitely. Yeah, I actually had both of them last year. But because of listening to you, I was so deep at running back, I was able to kind of fill in the blanks. And I made the playoffs last year. I didn't win but I still was able to weather that storm just from the depth.
Yeah, and you know what is I wouldn't say I got depressed because I've been doing this a while. I know how to like let it roll off the shoulder, but I will say that the Bryce Hall and Javonte predictions together did get me a little bit in a little bit of a downer mood for a couple weeks where I was literally like unbelievable luck for like 2 of my top 5 bold predictions to have the uncontrollable, you can't see it coming ACL tear. It wasn't like they're injury prone and they suffered an injury and you could have seen it coming. It was like 2 random freak ACL tears, and they were 2 of my top 5 bold predictions. It felt like getting kicked in the nuts twice in a row, getting struck by lightning twice in a row. But it is what it is, and it's like it's a just and adapt season. But what kind of made me feel so good at the end of the year is watching all of you come in and say, I got Pierce and Kenneth Walker anyway, Smitty. And it's like, can you imagine what our teams would have done with Kenneth Walker, Pierce, Javonte, Bryce Hall? Like, it's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Real quickly, hang tight for me. The Tex wants to ask, Tex, are you still in here? And Young, appreciate you. Young, are you still in here? Tex wants to know, can we talk about Trey Lance's value? What is this worth in Dynasty Superflex? Should we stay away, or is he a buy low? Well, this report came out, which was pretty. This isn't the report here. Let me find the report. This one here was NFL Network's Ian Rappaport said that on the McAfee show, he got a lot of pushback from the Niners for suggesting that Trey Lance will open the season behind Sam Darnold. So the Niners were basically he confirmed that pushback came from the Niners, which was telling, because the Niners don't say anything, but the fact that he got pushback from the Niners suggests that he's kind of talking out of turn. So, there is something to the fact that these guys aren't always right, and sometimes the media can create this kind of like crap storm that creates more and more negative buzz on a guy that's already got a lot of negative buzz going against him. And then this broke right here today. NBC Sports Bay Area reports a hairline finger fracture forced Trey Lance to change his throwing grip after the injury did not properly heal. He spent the whole year throwing without a bent finger, which changed everything and shows the toughness in the kid. This was kind of like, this is a tough one to take too, because everybody's trying to spin everything in a negative light. And there's a lot of reason to be concerned, right? Like even this report right here. So it says he spent most of the year, what I just read. The kid, that he's never complained about it. Coach Kyle Shanahan said of Trey Lance's 2021 preseason injury Thursday. This is talking about 2021 preseason injury. Okay, so this is him talking about 2021. And when I first saw this, and Ron, I even shared this with you when I saw it, I initially thought this was 2022. 2022 was different. And so this is being like brought up as if it's new. It's being brought up, and I first thought it was. And it's being brought up in such a negative light by everybody because everyone loves the drama, and they're just kind of piling it on. This kind of is almost an irrelevant piece of news because it was 2021 and really doesn't have anything to do with 2022 now. And then also the fact that like after that report, it says right here, let's see here. It says it appeared to be a hindrance in his 2022 campaign, whatever. In other words, this is from NBC Sports right here reporting on this. In other words, yikes. Although Shanahan now claims Lance is the best we've seen him, is yet another data point to throw on top of the mounting evidence that the Niners have zero intention in starting Trey Lance in 2023. That's a bold statement by NBC Sports Newswire. To say that they've zero intention to start him in 2023, I think that's a little crazy. That's a big reach. From a news perspective, this is a news report. This is not really a spec piece. This is kind of like a opinion reaction to the news, but it's always pretty statistically driven, very very, I don't know. I want to say like there's no reaches that go on in their analysis to this. So the fact that everyone's talking about Trey's not going to start all this, it's just it's mounting. It's mounting for sure, but mounting in an unfair way for Trey. I'm so scared that Trey's set up for failure. I'm so scared that Trey's confidence is completely shot, and any chance he had to shake any of that is getting destroyed by not only the media, but the lack of confidence that Shanahan's showing in him at times. But Shanahan did say, in a positive note that no one's talking about because everyone just wants to talk negatively about Trey, that maybe Trey can close the gap between him and Purdy and make this a difficult decision, kind of alluding that Trey's the starter, So we'll see what happens. Do I trust Shanahan? No. I trust him 0% to handle this situation properly, but I do think Trey Lance is being set up for failure, and I really get pissed off about it because I love this kid coming out of college. This is another one that I've missed. But because I put my faith in Shanahan, I'll never put my faith in Shanahan again. Not to any extreme level. Ever again. I don't trust him. Thank you, Tex. Appreciate your super chat. In Superflex, I don't, you don't even know if he's starting, bro. I would trade him away. If I had him, I'd trade him away. If I was in a draft, I'd avoid him. I hate to say that because I love the kid, but his situation is very, very hard to predict. Sam Darnold could start week 1. Brock Purdy is the presumed starter the moment he's ready to come back. Maybe Trey gets traded to Atlanta. Maybe Trey gets traded somewhere, if he does win like enough games but doesn't do so well to take Brock's job. So then maybe he gets traded. Young with a super chat says, Smitty, sorry I'm late. Is Bryce Little Himothy? I think Bryce is the man, bro. And I think he's a top 6 to 7 QB of the future, top 6 to 8 QB, and that's in good company. That's in Trevor Lawrence and Lamar Jackson company, because I think Fields and everybody above Fields, including Burrow and all those guys, are in the top 5. So to be in the 6 to 8, that's really good company, and that's where I think Bryce Young could fall. Not guaranteed, but could fall. Appreciate you, Young. Let me get on over. I'm gonna swing you guys off the line because I've been live for an hour and a half, and I got a few things I want to work on. And then we go live tonight, so I'm gonna kind of end it short so I don't have little time in between the live stream tonight. We're gonna be drafting on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Make sure you jump into the live stream, but also first make sure you click this link right here. I'm gonna pin it in the live chat. Underdog Fantasy, they'll match up to $100 in your first deposit. So get into the live stream and get into Underdog Fantasy using that link, and be prepared because we will be drafting. I think I pinned the link. Let me pin it again. There it is. Make sure you do this early so you don't miss out on getting in. We'll be drafting tonight. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Link in the description as well. Rock out. Oh, let's see. Is Rock Out still here? I think Rock Out left. Steven, I haven't given you much time to talk. You've been very patient. Let's give you a full minute. Whatever you want to talk about, go.
Do you still have the Chicago Bears winning the NFC North?
In a bold statement, yes. Do I think it's between the Lions, who the Bears and the Lions will be fighting in a dogfight for the division win? I'm probably rooting for the Lions more than I am the Chicago Bears because I'm such
All right, I've got a bold statement after much research that I've been doing. There's a young man that is coming up behind Khalil Herbert named Roschon Johnson.
Yep.
And I believe that he is going to be a league winner this year.
Could be.
Khalil has not stayed healthy. And if you consider the fact, as you say, that you think that Chicago is going to be competing for a playoff spot, Herbert is going to go down, and Johnson is a much better running back. And my bold prediction is that Johnson is going to outperform Gibbs and be a better running back for fantasy football this year.
Nice one. That's a good prediction. Steven can't put it on the board. The board's full of $50 haulers, like Paul dropping his $50 hauler on screen right now. My bold prediction, and Steven, that's a good one though. We all like Roschon, Chase Brown, and Deuce Vaughn. Those are all a couple running backs we love that are a little bit later. So good prediction. Paul with the super chat. $50 hauler. All $50 haulers get their prediction put on the board. So let's go over to the board and put this one up. This is for Paul. Paul says, my bold prediction. Let me get the mic here. My bold prediction is Ramondre Stevenson will finish as fantasy number 1 RB. Wow. That's a bold one, Paul. Paul on 5. What is today? 5/12? 5/12. Wrong marker, Smitty. Can't see a black marker on this board here. Can you guys hear me okay? Test. Okay. 5/12, Paul. Ramondre Stevenson. RB1. This is Paul Wolfer. Paul Wolfer. That is bold, Paul. That's a good one. Okay. Thank you, Paul, for dropping that. You're on the board. The $50 haulers get put on the board. And then the biggest prediction or the best prediction voted by you, the viewers, by the chat, will win a co-host day on the channel. You can co-host the show on the phone if you don't want to be on video. You can be on video on a split screen. And you're also going to win a lifetime membership to the fantasyfootballshow.com content membership, $99 value. And you may win some other things. We'll see what we have cooking. Paul, very good prediction. Ron Navy, final thoughts, my guy. I think Steven hung up.
Not much. Just laughing that players getting fleeced left and right. That's about all I got. We'll talk to you later.
All right, Ron. I'll see you tonight. We'll be drafting tonight. Okay. Did you see did you see Damien on the show today?
Yeah, I saw him.
Okay. Yeah, it was cool talking. He's a cool dude. It's fun talking to RBs. I know players have different perspectives than we do, and a lot of players don't necessarily get as excited as we do about production because we've got such a narrow, agenda. We want players to be the best. We want them to score top 5 running back numbers, and so like Scott Hansen, Damian Berry, they're all a little more cautious on like calling Bijan the second coming, but it's natural for people outside of our world to be a little more hesitant. But it was fun talking to him, and he likes Gibbs a lot. Doesn't see any size issues for Gibbs or Bryce Young. Yeah, he's good runner in college. Damian was a good one. Miami.
Yeah,
all right, Ron, appreciate you. You what?
I can't remember him on the Ravens.
Yeah, he's on the Super Bowl winning Ravens in 2010.
The one where Trent Dilfer?
Yeah. What was that, 10, 11? Was that 11 and 12, 10, 11? What is that?
That was ways back. Because you had Flacco after Trent.
Yeah, what was that?
And Flacco went and won it with against San Francisco. Remember?
Yeah. What was it? When was that?
San Francisco hasn't won a Super Bowl since 1992.
Yeah, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't with the Ravens. He won. Yeah, what am I thinking? I don't know. He's a Super Bowl. I forget what teams he played for. He played for. Did he play for? I don't know. We'll have to ask him next time. I know he's got a Super Bowl ring. I'm just blanking out on when. 11. I don't know. All right, Ron, appreciate you. See you tonight.
All right, later, Smitty.
Later. Yeah, 2000 is when they won the Super Bowl. So when did he win a ring? I don't know. I forget where do you win a ring then? God, was Dilfer in 2000? I can't believe Dilfer was in 2000. That's so long ago. That was so long ago. It feels like that year was not 23 years ago. But yeah, he played in 2010, 2011 with the Ravens. But he played for a couple teams. All right, guys. Appreciate you all. See you tonight. We'll be mock drafting, or not. I don't think we'll mock draft. We're just going to do live best ball drafts again. promo code Smitty, Underdog Fantasy. They'll match up to $100 in your first deposit. That link is pinned in the live chat. That link is in the description of every video. And if you go ahead and click that link now, they'll double your first deposit up to $100. They'll match it. Well, they'll match it up to $100. You deposit $50, they'll give you $50. We are getting old, Kevin. It's amazing when you think, okay, yeah, it was in 2010. No, it was in 2000. 2000. Trent Dilfer was 2000. 2010 was like that was Arian Foster, which seems like ages ago. But Arian Foster was 2010. Dilfer was 2000-ish. Super chat coming in for Rock Out. Took Gibbs at 1.2, punch it. But the continuum of the gigawatt component structure of Jahmyr Gibbs' workload divide has a megawatt offload that if you compartmentalize the component conjunction timekeeper and you flux capacitor out the continuum component megabolt, things just end up happening. And that's why Jahmyr Gibbs is a top 5 to 10 running back instead of top 6 to 10. I'm stepping out here. Caller from the 828. Who am I talking to? You're live. You got 30 seconds. What can I help you with? Who is this?
Hey, Smitty. My name's Matt. I've been watching your show recently, and I really enjoy your program.
Appreciate it, Matt.
I started using that Underdog app, and I did the 30-second where I did the draft slot where you could draft every 30 seconds.
Yep.
My phone kept freezing up, so I went to the 8-hour slot. So I was going to ask you, is there a way to notify people when they're up on that 8-hour slot so we aren't having to wait all day? Because,
good.
I didn't know if there's a way for them to be able to check that or not.
Yeah, go to your settings. Are you on an iPhone?
Okay.
Are you on an iPhone?
No, I'm on a Google Pixel.
Yeah, go to settings. I don't know where the exact navigation for that's going to be, but if you go to settings, if anybody on here that has a Droid or a Pixel or whatever, if you could let him know what to do. But I imagine you just go to your settings and you go find the app. And if you go to the app, you're going to want to go to the notifications section and you're going to want to toggle that on. So if you toggle that on in your settings, then you probably will get an alert when you're on the clock, I'd imagine, from your phone. But if you don't go to settings and go to Underdog in the settings and find the Underdog settings, which won't be in the app, it'll be in your settings of your phone. You got to turn on you got to give grant permission to be a part of the push notification.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know why I didn't think of doing that. I thought it was something maybe I had to do on y'all's app. I don't know why I didn't even think to do that.
That's all right.
But hey, man, I love your show, man.
Yeah, you said Matt, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to put you in the phone line here, Matt, so that when you call, I'll see you, and I'll be more likely to answer because I got you in the system. So call in anytime. The phone lines are pretty much always open, pal.
All right, buddy. I appreciate you.
All right, later. All right, I'm out of here. Appreciate you all. See you tonight. We're going to be drafting live. Go get it done. Go get her done. People are getting burrowed left and right, and people are going to remember it.
Get burrowed.
Link is in the live chat pinned. Link is in the description of every video. Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. That link will put the promo code in for you. If you don't, if you go there on your own, put promo code in to get that $100 bonus match. Doing it live tonight. Live drafts. See you all tonight. Thanks to Damian Barry who came on the show. Good dude. Our other guest didn't show up. We'll give him a real hard time the next time he dials in. We'll just wait for him. Maybe he'll come on the show Monday. See you all tonight around midnight. Probably more like 12:30 midnight-ish Eastern. Thanks to all the Bijan haters out there, the Jahmyr Gibbs haters out there, the Dalton Kincaid haters out there. We appreciate you all. Very blessed indeed. All you got to do is go to my Instagram, my guy. And at the top of my profile, you'll see a bell icon. Turn on all the notifications so that when I go live, I'll put a story post every single time I go live on Instagram and say, here's the link. Get in there. I'm going live on YouTube, 7 p.m. Show starts right now. I put that on my stories. If you click on my face right here, you'll see all my story posts. These are all the reels and posts on the grid. But if you click on the actual circle avatar there and you see that colored ring around it, that means there's live story posts on there. And when I post one and you click the bell notification on my profile, it will alert you every time I put a story post up. So no excuses, very blessed. There are many ways to get notifications, not to mention I put on my stories. Actually, if you see on these highlights right here, you'll see a channels. They're called Instagram channels, and you could subscribe to that free channel and you'll get a DM as well. A DM from me saying I'm going live. And so there's lots of ways to do that. Aloha in the chat. Aloha is the highest super chatter in a single live stream so far this year. As you can see on the screen right here, Aloha dropping a $300 wad in a single live stream. He is the highest super chatter in one single live stream. His name's Aloha. He's practically royalty around here. I'll see you all tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. Click that link in the live chat. Get ready and signed up for the live drafts tonight. See you all tonight. Later, Swaggy. Later, OEG. Later, Thomas. Later, Very Blessed. Appreciate you. Later, Aloha. Later, JCIM. We'll see you later. Wayne Solo. Max Swanson. Like the briefcase. Swansonite. Great show, brother, says DC Hogs. Smitty, the app is having issues on phone currently. Advise people to queue players. Okay, good to know. QJ is the next Debo. Quentin Johnston says Hod. You know what? I'm warming up to him a little more, I will admit, and I'll talk about that later if I continue to head down that road. I do like him a lot, but I just think he's raw, and I don't know. I just have I have some concerns I can't shake, but I do like the situation. Very Blessed will be here tonight. KC in the building. 7. Hey, KC. My schedule is pretty locked into place. It's like clockwork here, bro. So here it is right now, just so you can see it. I'm live Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Every single Monday through Friday. Doesn't change. Live whenever news breaks. That doesn't change. Panic Chamber Tuesday nights going forward at midnight. Doesn't change. The graveyard shift time doesn't change. Midnight to 12:30. So midnight Tuesday, midnight Thursday, midnight Friday, midnight Saturday. Live drafts are Thursday, Friday, Saturday marathons, baby. Panic Chamber daily uploads, do it live. Tex, appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat, Tex. You got my response, did you not? I hope you did. What was your super chat again? Let me look at it real quickly, just a refresh. Tex, you said, can we talk Trey Lance? Yeah, I went on a long talk about Trey Lance. Thank you, Tex. Appreciate you. Took Gibbs at the 1.2 rock out. Appreciate you. Paul dropping the $50 prediction on the board behind me. Anybody drops a $50 hauler, they get their name on the board with the prediction receipt season. And then, best prediction voted by you, the chat. We'll co-host the show, get a lifetime membership to the $99 content membership here at the Fantasy Football Show. Do it live. See you all tonight. Later.